Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, it's a privilege and honor. I feel it's amazing and lucky to be at this point in history to have the opportunity to do what I feel is the right thing. Many of you may not know this, but I'm expecting our first child in July. We're very excited, and I'm terrified at the same time, but I'm learning the best I can, and I've got some good teachers. But it really does make me think about the future and how things are going to change and the things that I want for that child and how I want to see that future unfold for the opportunities my child has. But for me, I'm a context person. I think of things in the context of the past, present, and future. And a good friend of mine, friend of over 20 years, shared with me when I was on the way in today. He said, think about how it was when we were kids. What was it like in school? What were the words we used? What was the culture of being gay back then? And what did that mean to a lot of people? And how was that used in a negative way? And is that the culture we want to have our kids growing up in? Currently, I'd like to think that culture is getting better. When I was a kid, I remember in middle school, that was one of the worst things you could call somebody else. And I think, it makes me sad to think back about how that was the norm. I'd like to think today some of that's changing. And I really, sincerely hope that as we take a step forward, when my kid is in school, that just isn't even a part of the consciousness. It isn't a part of the public discourse. I grew up, and I've expressed this on the floor a little bit before, in a somewhat broken home. Parents were divorced. My mom, as I have lovingly referred to her, as a flower child hippie liberal from the 60s, and my dad was a Reagan Republican. And they didn't agree on almost really anything, right? I mean, to be fair, except one thing. They taught me from the very beginning, love no matter what. Both sides, love no matter what. It trumps the rest. And someone recently accused me on Twitter of being divisive. Friends, I don't think equality and love is ever divisive. I see this as something that is uniting. And I know some don't agree with me, but I've had the opportunity to have many folks come to my office who are adamantly opposed to this bill. And by the end of those conversations, we left as friends. It could have been ugly, could have been a horrible discourse, it could have been one angry exchange, but my responsibility as a statesperson, as a public official, is to let every single person be heard and to let them know that I respect where they're at. I developed some wonderful relationships. I've been able to help them out on other issues, and I'm hoping that as time goes on, whatever wounds are there or divisions are healed. But I can tell you that for myself, voting yes is an intensely personal thing, and I vote yes not for myself but also for my kid, also for a chance to change the culture. I think that's just vitally important. I want to thank Karen and others who have been around longer than I have, who have shepherded me through when I've seemingly ran stuff over, been a bit of a bull in a china shop at times. I'm just really appreciative of that. I'm grateful to be here, and I'm excited and very proud to vote yes. Thank you.